Welcome, everybody. I figured we'd start this one off by, I had somebody come into the studio, and more often than not, I hear this, that they haven't been around because they've been going through a lot of darkness and hard times, and they're just having a lot of difficulty getting out of their own head and what have you. I wanted to say this is a message for them and for anybody else who's going through dark times. First thing I would say about it is this is all temporary. The good days, the bad days, all the days, it's all temporary. You will get through. And to not give up, no matter what, don't give up, especially now. Now is the time to take action and to reflect or to go inward with it and to analyze what it is exactly that's troubling you. Obviously, it's much easier said than done, but that is the shadow work. There was something real interesting I heard on another podcast where they essentially said, list all the most terrible things that have ever happened to you or that you've gone through, the most difficult things, the hardest of the hardest. List them all on a paper, write them all down, and then look at them and start to ask yourself, did I go through all these things just to get here and to give up? I hope not. I just thought that was fascinating. We all go through it. We're all battling our own demons and darkness and shadow. What story have you ever heard where anybody achieving anything great or anything at all had it easy? A lot of stories start out like that, and they tell you how rough the times were, and they wanted to just give up and just call it a day, but they persevered. So I think that's like really important to kind of think about. You didn't go through all that to just give up. No, in fact, it's a new day. It's a new opportunity. I personally started looking at things in that sense where it's taken a long time. And it's not easy always to think like this, but anytime the difficult times come, or just hard times, I try to look at it as an opportunity to grow or to just get stronger. And I'm always welcoming challenge for that reason, so I can grow through it, so I can learn, so I can become a better person, a better being. It's a matter of just not giving up, to be adamant in your resolve. And yeah, like I said, it's much easier said than done, but that's just what it is. You have to, how do I want to say it? You have to love yourself, starters. That's the very first thing. You have to know that you're worthy. Yeah, we all make mistakes. We all mess up. That's totally part of life. That's the learning lessons. Whether you keep messing up and what have you, then, you have to evaluate and be like, where did I go wrong? You really have to go inward with it. You can't just cope and, drink it away, smoke it away, do drugs. Like, you have to sit with it. You have to process it. You have to go through the suck, the hurt, the pain, and then alchemize it into some sort of level of motivation and determination. It's so easy to just give up. It's so easy to just say, forget it. And just a reminder that we are our own worst enemies. So once we get in our head like that, it's real easy to just give into that. Don't give into that. Don't give up. Don't stop now. If there was something that, you wanted to do, or you were in the middle of, or whatever, don't give up now. Like, this is the time where it'll take you to the next level by pushing through. I can't tell you, even just doing this podcast, how much I procrastinate it and want to not do it sometimes. But I have an overall objective, which I'm trying to hold not too much attachment to, but ultimately, like, I know what I want to do in my heart and head, so I know I have to go through. It's those dark days that stop us and prevent us. It's not the good days, the light days, and the happy days. It's easy to do this stuff during that time. But it's in the dark times and in the times you want to give up, that's when you do not quit. It's preparing you to take you to the next level. So don't give up. Do not give up. Do not quit. If you haven't started the thing yet, or whatever it is, the things that drive you, or maybe you don't know yet, that could be another first step, in the sense of sit down with yourself and figure out what your purpose is, why you think you're here. And because we're all here for a reason, we are all on a journey. We have our missions, we have our contracts. And if you don't feel like you have one, well, you have to sit down and figure that out for yourself. Like, what moves you, what drives you, what motivates you, what inspires you, what makes you feel alive, what makes you love, what makes you makes you angry. Like, all these things have these tags on them for a reason. And if you don't have purpose, then it's really hard to traverse through this life, this matrix, without it. And we all have a purpose, I believe. We're all here for a reason. So if you haven't started it or whatnot, don't wait. Don't procrastinate any longer. This right here is your cue to start. And if anything, that's all. I really enjoy doing that personally. Like, I enjoy inspiring people, or aspire people to do the thing, or whatever it is. Maybe start the podcast, maybe have the discussion, maybe start a journey into health and fitness, or whatever it is. And you never know when that can strike or when that's going to arise. But the most important thing is you have to start it. You have to just jump in. A lot of us are waiting for the right time or an opportunity. The opportunity is now. You're breathing air into your lungs, then the opportunity is here. If you're waiting for a specific time, like I said, or an event or this or whatever, those days never come. And when they do, we're probably going to be ill prepared for it. And then we'll have another excuse. So don't keep making excuses. You have to jump. I think it was Martin Luther King who said, analysis leads to paralysis. And it's one of those things where if you overthink things, if you overplan, if you overdraft the formula or the plan to execute, well, it may never come. So it's better to just start and then fine-tune as you go in. I'd be lying to you if I said I had any idea what I was doing when I started the podcast, or my business, for that matter. If I were to have listened to other people, or have waited for someone to join the cause, or to help be a teammate or a partner or whatever, it would have never started. It would have just never gotten off the ground. So sometimes you have to just leap and just see where it takes you. And going back to, like, don't wait around for nobody. Don't wait around for a day, a time, a place, a person. It's never going to happen. It's never going to come. They're not showing up. They're not coming. Get out of your head and just get to work. And I used to believe, like, you have to set the mind first and then the body will follow, which in some instances this can be a thing. But I've learned now that lead with the body and the mind will follow. It's much easier to just get started than to wait for the motivation and the discipline to happen and then go. It makes it much more difficult in my opinion. Lead with the body, the mind will follow, the endorphins will kick in, the adrenaline, the testosterone, all the chemicals that you need to get started will happen. And going back to like what I was saying, maybe you're going through some dark days. I'll tell you, like, this has probably been one of my harder years for sure, dealing with things, personal things. And there were many days where I didn't feel like doing it anymore, or I didn't want to teach, or I didn't want to run my company, or I didn't want to do the podcast. Like I said, I even procrastinated this one pretty hard, like looking for content and whatever. And then you start thinking to yourself, well, is anybody going to watch it? Or are they even going to care? Or what are they going to care? How are they going to feel about it? This and that. And it's endless. It's endless. You can come up with a million different reasons why you want to shut down and not, like I said, do the thing. But it's in those times of peril and darkness that when you rise up, you can be such a force to be reckoned with. And it's a matter of muscle memory and training yourself, in the sense, like, the more you do things that you don't want to do, the easier things start to become, especially in the dark times. And like I said, I know it's easy to give up, or to just want to just sit on the couch and just surf Netflix or YouTube or whatever. At some point you have to decide, enough's enough. I've had it. I've had enough of my own bullshit, so to speak, and just be like, I want to change, and I'm gonna do the thing, or I'm gonna get myself out of this. Because ultimately, if you feed the darkness, if you keep putting yourself there and you don't process it and you don't feel it through, and like I said, you start coping and you use all these mechanisms to just suppress it and push it down, it won't go away. In fact, you'll be feeding it. It can get worse from there. So you have to address it. You have to sit with it, process it, feel it, go through it, and then take action, alchemize it. Or just drop it or put it down and be like, enough's enough. I'm not going to allow this to not only dictate my life, but I'm not going to allow it to set the baseline for my character. Like, this isn't me. You don't have to. You don't have to live like that. You don't have to be that person. You can change, provided you're willing to and you want to. Unless you don't see a problem with it, well, then that's another. I guess that's another discussion. But ultimately, I know a lot of us are unhappy. We want to change. We don't know how to start. But I think one of the big things is starting by just loving yourself and know that you deserve everything that you want and need. You are worthy of all the things. You are worthy of love. Who knows? Maybe you're in a relationship that's just not serving you. Maybe you're at a job that's not serving you, or recognizing you for your potential, and maybe you're not getting rewarded, or there's just no growth there. Then you got to make moves. You have to address these things. These are the things that are screaming at us that this is why I'm not happy. So you kind of have to bring them to the forefront, process them, go through them, and get going. Take action. Time is now. There's no such thing as the past. There's no such thing as the future. That's literally just figments of our imagination, or whatever, or our memory. The only time is now. So don't wait. Don't wait any longer. Start the thing. Do it. Get off your ass. Get going. It's time. The world is waiting for you. You have family that's waiting for you. You have friends that are waiting for you. Maybe you don't have them even yet. Maybe it's something that's going to come. And I do say that with confidence, that things come when you start. For example, like I'm almost up to 5 years of business, and I've waited so long for certain people to come walking through that door. And I had to eventually come to terms with it that, you know what, they're not going to come through the door. They're not coming. And that's okay. That is okay. Because the door's open, people have come. Maybe not the ones that I thought, but people have come. Faces come in. And it's a beautiful thing. It's you start meeting these people on the path, but you'll never meet them, or you'll never have that opportunity if you don't start walking the path. So get up, walk the path, do the thing. Don't give up if you're already in the middle of the journey or at the beginning, or you may even think you're near the end. I don't know, but no matter what, you don't want to give up. You have to keep going. It's important. There's so many people waiting to meet you or counting on you, or maybe even let that go. Don't worry about others' expectations. Just get going. Don't give up. Keep going. Keep moving forward. The darkness will end. I promise you that. You just have to change your mindset. You have to process it, go through it, feel it, and then decide, is this who I am? No. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to let this go. I'm no longer going to allow it to affect me the way I have. And yes, it's a practice. Absolutely. A lot of people wake up miserable and they're defeated before they even get out of bed. You have to change your mindset. You have to start the journey or continue the journey, especially during the dark times. And it starts by, like I said, loving yourself, knowing you deserve everything that you've thought of, whatever it may be. Get going on it. Going back to a little bit on maybe you don't feel educated enough. Start to read. Read some books. Pick the subjects that resonate with you, that things that you've already taken a shining to, or something that's already like triggered you in some way or inspired you. Start with those things. Start reading. Start writing. Start making new friends. Maybe it's your inner circle. Maybe it's people in your life that have been making you miserable because they've been siphoning all your energy, and I'm just using examples, different things as to why possibly we might be unhappy. But you have to essentially evaluate your life. You have to start seeing, where the faults are, where the kinks in the armor are. And yeah, maybe it's your friends, maybe it's family, maybe it's certain people in your life, maybe it's a relationship that you're in. Start addressing it. Start talking about it. Either you fix it or you have to abandon ship or whatever. I don't know. I don't really have the answers on that, but I definitely know that you have to address it. Maybe it's your habits. Maybe you haven't been as active as you want to be. So stop. Go for a walk. Hit the gym. Do some yoga. Maybe start looking up some videos. Maybe start getting some new fresh ideas. And like I said, these are just examples, but these are a lot of things that almost all of us have in our lives that we can change a little bit. Your daily habits. Maybe you're watching too much news. Maybe you're watching too much YouTube. Maybe you're watching too much TV, or maybe you're surfing on your phone for too long. Start setting limits on that and be like, well, I'm gonna dedicate a half hour to movement and exercise or meditation and breath work. Anything. All these things can help and start bringing you back to yourself. Maybe it's your diet. Maybe there's certain things that you've been eating that you don't want to eat no more, or you'd like to eat, but you know that you shouldn't be eating. It doesn't take much. Just little small changes and steps can start the cycle into going towards the light and going towards a healthier lifestyle and just a healthier way of being. And like I said, I'm just throwing little examples out there, but if you have specific things that you want to talk about, you can, drop them in the comments, and maybe I can try to give you some pointers as to how to address it or where to go. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a scientist. I'm just a guy who wants to see the world a better place. That's all. Like I said, it's real easy to get discouraged. You're not going to always crank it out of the park. It might be a slow start. With each huge journey, or any journey, starts with the first few steps and many other steps from it. It's a matter of just taking the steps. You never know where it's going to lead either. Like this, for example, I have my own like mission and objective I wanted to achieve with just the podcast alone specifically. I've already gotten like a lot of the bad feedback, and I knew that was coming. I already knew that, but that was part of it. Like, I wanted to do it anyway because I knew somewhere there were going to be people that were going to be like, I like listening to your show, or I like listening to the podcast, and I like hearing what you have to say. And more often than not, I've had that happen already. There's a lot of people that are saying that they're really enjoying it, and that makes my world. I love that. But I'm not entirely doing it for that. I really appreciate the people who do appreciate me, but I'm staying on the path because I see much bigger things in the future. But they're not going to happen if I don't produce, if I don't work on things, if I don't do the thing. It'll never get done. So here we are, right? Doing the thing. Whether you don't have the confidence or not, do it. And I promise they will come. The rewards will start coming in. You'll start feeling better about whatever it is that you're trying to do. You don't have to be a master before you get going. I didn't wait until I had a business degree or I was a 1,000-hour yogi before I decided, hey, you know what? I want the world to know this stuff. No, it wasn't like that at all. I had a very small skill set in yoga, but it was enough where I was like, well, just what I know now, I want to show people. I want to tell people. That's what I love to do. I love to gain knowledge and then just give it away and let others see what I have seen. And I like hearing their feedback, and I like hearing their opinions and getting different views on things. And that kind of goes back to, you're always going to catch some flack, and you're always going to catch the Debbie Downers. And we have literally the world against us. The whole world is essentially against us. No matter what you do, you'll always have critics, all these things. But if that was the case, then nothing would ever get done. If we rely on that, or if we listen to other people's opinions and what have you, you just have to do it. And eventually you'll hone your skill, you will hone your craft, and you'll get better at it. You don't have to be a master or a professional or this or that. Once again, there's no wrong time. The moment you decide something, just do it. Just do it. Jump at the opportunity. And that's how it's done. That's really how it's done. You can't wait. I mean, you can, but in all honesty, the numbers don't look in your favor if you do. But if you want to achieve something, you just have to get going on it. Just do it. It's always hard to start something new. But I personally think it's very exciting to start new things. Use these opportunities. Use these times of darkness or light. Maybe you're in a good mood and you want to do it. That's great. That's so awesome. Originally, like I said, I just wanted to kind of hype people up a little bit. I want people to know that they are needed in this world, whether they believe so or not. I don't even know you. Maybe I do know you, but even the people I don't know, I believe in you. Because the human spirit is so powerful. So powerful. This I know. The heart and the mind, such powerful instruments. I encourage you to please just do your thing. The art, the craft, whatever you have to show the world. Even if it's just yourself, be yourself. That's more than enough. That's more than enough. I can't tell you how many people inspire me just from hearing their stories or their triumphs, or even when they're in the dark. My brain immediately goes to, This is an opportunity. This is an opportunity to rise from the ashes, to start anew, to say enough's enough. Like I said, sometimes you have to be like, I'm tired of my own bullshit. It's time for me to change. And I know a great many people who have done just that. They've come from the shadows and the darkness, and they've risen up, and they're now happier than they ever have been in their lives. Everything is temporary. Don't suck them to the darkness. Don't give in. Don't give up. Do not give up. We need you. I need you. The world needs you. Do the thing. Use it as an opportunity. Use it to tell your story. Every great journey starts with a story. This is your story. So use it. As I've said, I know how easy it is to just get in your own head and to overthink things and to procrastinate and to feel sorry for yourself and all that stuff. But we're human. We are human. And it goes back to that whole, I don't know, it's just an old quote, but we are our own worst enemies. And that's so true. That is so true. You will talk yourself out of so many more things than anyone you will ever meet. So don't do that. Don't do it. We have the whole world against us. The whole weight of the matrix is on us. Start by loving yourself. Don't be like everyone and everything else. Start with yourself. Start honoring yourself, loving yourself. Know that you deserve better than not being nice to yourself. You have to, don't beat yourself up. You have to have grace with yourself. So do just that. Be graceful, be kind, because the body's listening to every thought, emotion, words, everything. So make sure you be kind to yourself. Yeah, it's tough. I don't like seeing anybody sitting in the dark. If it's because of certain things you've done or your actions or certain things you haven't done, maybe you're upset that you didn't handle an opportunity the way you wanted to, or you missed an opportunity. There's more to come. More things will come, especially if you walk that path. They will arise again. You'll have more opportunities. Might not be the way you envisioned it, but that's okay. No expectations. No attachment to such thought. And if anything, you can be prepared now. Now you can take the time to prepare for when the opportunity does arise, that you can take full advantage of it. Get preparing. Get training. Get to work. Don't give up. Don't give in. You didn't come this far to just throw in the towel. Right? No, you did not. You have to walk the path. Do it. And I promise you, you will feel much better once you do. I know a lot of people are battling with like depression and all that. And one of the easiest ways to help build yourself up or to make yourself feel better is service work. And what I mean by that is go help somebody else out who's hurting or struggling. Even if you might not think like you have the means to or the time or whatever, make the time. Go make somebody else feel good. That will make you feel 10 times better when you start helping somebody else out. We're all just walking each other home here. Drop expectations. Drop the competition. Drop the ego. The ego is, it's a hell of a drug. You have to drop the ego. You can't let him drive. You have to become friends with your shadow. You have to integrate it. And how you do so is accept it. You have to accept it. You can't get rid of it. There's no light without the dark, and vice versa. You don't have to let it drive. You don't have to let it become you and the personality and your character. You just have to make friends with it. You have to love yourself. You have to have grace and understanding and compassion for yourself. That's where it begins. From there, you can start going outward with it. But if you're struggling deeply with depression and anxiety and all that, like I said, first things first, take a step back, maybe look around you. Maybe there's somebody in your inner circle or even your outer circle that you can lend a hand to. Make their day or life just a little bit easier. And with that, it's so rewarding to see somebody else feel better because, well, you helped, or you did this, or you showed up. It's very, very rewarding. So you can start with that. That's one little thing. A lot of it is, like I said, we get in our own heads. We start really dumping on ourselves. We wouldn't even treat another human being like this, but yet here we are beating ourselves up. Very, very abusive, very toxic. Don't do that. Sit with it, like I said, acknowledge it. Don't try to run from it. Don't try to cope. Don't try to suppress it. You have to sit with it. You have to feel it. You have to go through with it. And in certain circumstances, like I said, eventually you'll have to decide enough is enough. I am tired of feeling like this. I don't want to feel like this anymore. And then you'll be inspired to change. Where you go from there is up to you. But be kind. Honor yourself. Love yourself. And good things will come. Stop finding what your purpose is. If you don't have one, find it. Because you never know, like, even if you pick something small and minute, it can turn into something exponential. It can turn into something grand and great. Or it can lead to other things. You never know. You really never know where the journey is going to bring you. And that's the beauty of it. That's actually the wonderful thing to life is you set out in hopes of one thing and you end up with such greater treasure in the end. And you're like, wow, I never would have imagined this would have happened. And in fact, that's probably most of the stories that you would hear of any successful person. They tell you, wow, I never would have imagined. There's a couple out there that are like, no, I set my goals. I did this. I did that. I knew what I wanted and I went for it. And that's beautiful. But all I'm trying to say is it doesn't have to be something grand and grandiose before you decide to start going on the path. You can pick something very, very simple, very small, and you never know where it will end up leading you. It's wonderful. It really is. I just hope this message brings you a little light, because I don't want to see anybody sit in the dark. I also know that it's part of the spiritual path. And like I said, I've sat in dark for a while, and it can strengthen you greatly. It can humble the hell out of you, for sure. And it's all part of our journey, really. I wouldn't be where I am emotionally, mentally, spiritually, if it wasn't through all my trials and tribulations that I've had to endure. And I'm thankful for them. I really am. It is what built my character. It's now integrated into my story. And I'm very, very thankful for that. All the heartache, the loss, the dark, it shapes you. It molds you into the person you need to be, provided you don't fall into the darkness, provided you don't succumb to it. You have to persevere. You have to push through. You have to not give up. So that's my message tonight, is get on the path, do the thing, don't give up, don't give in. You're loved, you're worthy, you deserve everything you want and need. Go for it. If you're waiting for a time or a message or an event or anything, use this as the message. I am telling you, get going on it. We're waiting on you. We're counting on you. We love you. And we need you. Now more than ever, the world needs you. And your gifts. And your love and your light. So shine on. Get going. I hope you feel a little lighter than when you started listening to this. I'll end it there. Have a great day. See you all soon. Valhalla.